So I'm going to talk about my first Tough Mudder, World's Toughest Mudder experience. November 4th, 2022 was a crazy day. The most difficult thing I've ever done in my life, and I can't wait to do it again in 8 to 9 months. I got to figure out how many weeks out I am so I can start the countdown from now. Race was on Saturday, and I got there on Thursday. It was me, my mom, and my wife. Forget how long of a drive it was. I don't remember. 8, 9, 10 hour drive. Get up there Thursday morning. We're going in this little car that we're in right now. That I'm in right now. I packed all the food, the tent, everything. 2 other people, their clothes, I don't know how we packed everything in this car. It makes absolutely no sense to get there, and we're tired from the drive, so we just unpack everything, putting everything in the Airbnb, which was 1 hour away from the event because I took too long to book a place, so I couldn't find anything closer. So that was my fault. But we relax, unpack, unwind, eat some good food, finishing up my carbo loading. Then Friday morning, after we're all rested, we drive. It's like 9 in the morning. We drive to the event to just get signed in, get my mom and my wife signed in, get them all situated, get myself situated, get to my spot, and put the tent up, put the things that, get ready for the next day, putting all the drinks and the food ready, all my supplies that I'll need for the next 24 hours. So we do that Friday. And then after we get everything all situated, I meet some people that are nice enough to help me out getting settled. And yeah, it was fun there's a little briefing on Friday as well, talking about what's going to happen, what each obstacle looks like, what you can do to, just the different rules, and making sure everyone does the right thing and no one gets, disqualified. Blah, blah, blah. So we went through all that on Friday. And then afterwards, we go back to the Airbnb, eat some more, make sure we got everything situated. If we forgot anything, go to the store, buy some more food or drinks or whatever we need. So again, all the checkpoints. Then Saturday comes along, big day. We get there, we get back to the event at 10 a.m., 9 a.m., and start time's at noon. So I'm super excited. I'm all got my nerves running, and again they do another briefing just in case anybody wasn't there for the yesterday's briefing. I meet more people talking about the race, saying that it's my. I meet these couple guys that I'm telling them, oh yeah, it's my first time doing it, and like, oh, you're gonna have a blast. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be your the worst day of your life. And they say it with a smile, so it's comforting. And then I asked them, like, oh, when was the last time you did this? And they said last November. They did the year before. I forgot where it was at. I think Vegas or I don't know. And they're like, yeah, I couldn't feel my fingers and toes for 2 months. So, if that's not encouraging, I don't know what is. And that's right before the race starts, so it got me real pumped. That was a nice little pep talk. They're just getting everybody hyped up. We warm up, and it's just like 1,000 people all crowded together, waiting for the gate to open up so we can start. Noon happens, boom, gate opens up, we start. And the first lap is pretty cool. Each lap is 5 miles. So yeah, for anybody who doesn't know about the course, 5 miles is 1 lap. Each lap has 20 something obstacles. So the first lap is like a little warm-up lap. They open each obstacle every hour or so. They open a couple obstacles per hour. So the first hour, they didn't have any obstacles open. So we can run the first lap. You should be able to run the 5 miles in an hour. So you do the first lap, and there's no obstacles. So it's cool. Everyone's just running. They're just running through the terrain, getting used to it, getting to see all the obstacles that we're about to do. First lap was easy. I think they opened like maybe 5, 6 obstacles. So I'm second lap, and after doing the first couple obstacles, it was a little tiring. I was like, dang, I got to do this 10 more times. Or after the second lap, I go back to my tent, refuel, have a couple electrolytes, something to drink, something to eat real quick, probably in and out in like 5 minutes. Go for my third lap. So like I said, each lap is 5 miles. So I did 5 miles first lap, second lap 10 miles, and then now I'm on my third lap, and I'm going, some more obstacles opening up, and I'm slowing down a little bit. Time wise, first lap took me 50 minutes to do, so it was a 10-minute mile. Nothing impressive, obviously. Then the second lap, it took me an hour and 15, so I slowed down a little bit. And then after the third lap, it took me an hour and a half. So I was, as the obstacles are opening up, makes sense. I'm slowing down 15 minutes. So I'm like, that's not bad. And then I was resting for maybe the maximum 10 minutes it's called the pit crew. I was like at a good pace because I was doing the math. I was trying to do 50 miles in 24 hours. That's 2 miles an hour. If I do each lap under 2 hours, and I'm trying to do 10 laps, that should be 20 hours. And then that gives me 4 hours in between each lap to rest. I'm like, oh, that's so doable. I'm ahead of schedule. I'm doing, first lap 50, second lap an hour and 15, third lap hour and a half, piece of cake. And then that's when it started getting a little cold. It started off at 65 degrees at noon, and then as the hours went by, it got a little bit colder. So I changed into my wetsuit after the third lap. I forgot what time this was at, but I put my wetsuit on because some of the obstacles were in water, and it started getting to like the 50s, so Florida boy wasn't liking it. So I put the wetsuit on after the third lap. Then it started my fourth lap. That's when things started going downhill pretty fast. I already completed 15 miles, started getting into the 40s at the start of the fourth lap. Some of the obstacles were in water. One obstacle is called Arctic Enema, and the water's like 35 degrees. They're constantly pouring ice in the water. That's when my body really started slowing down. On the fourth lap, I was going down a hill. At the end of the hill, my legs fully locked up. So only 20 miles in, or in the middle of the fourth lap, probably 17, 18 miles, my whole legs locked up on me. Quads, hamstrings, calves, just completely full leg cramp. Something I've never felt in my life. I looked like Tin Man. Every step was brutal. There's always workers there watching you and see, if you're okay, if they need to call a medic, blah, blah, blah. So one of the workers looked at me, he's like, hey, buddy, you okay? And I just looked up, and I didn't even say anything. I just waved and thumbs up. And I looked down. I'm like, what the heck do I do? So I just started punching my quads where I was cramping. I just started wailing on my legs. They relaxed a little bit, and I was able to walk. So I started walking. I couldn't, and then if I locked up again, full leg cramp, then I just start punching my legs again. And then that was just back and forth, punching my legs, waddling, punching my legs, waddling, until I finished the fourth lap. So at that point, it was probably in the low 40s or high 30s. After that fourth lap, my mom and my wife could see my spirits were diminishing. They didn't have that big smile like I did when I started. Again, I replenished. I started the fifth lap, so 20 miles in, check, hanging in there. Depending on the obstacle, my moods was all over the place on that fifth lap. That fifth lap was probably the worst lap. It was already pitch black, it's already dark. At that point, I think it was 35 degrees or low 30s, and I would do an obstacle, and if it felt easy, I was like, oh, I got this. I can do this all day. It's not an issue at all. Then the very next obstacle, while my spirits were high again, it took all my effort. I mean, every little bit of effort I had to get over that wall. I landed on my feet, but then somehow landed on my side. My feet couldn't catch me. And then I'm on the floor for felt like it's an eternity, but it was probably only like 10 seconds. And in my head, I'm like, can I do this? Do I really have what it takes to do 50 miles in? I'm not even halfway done, and my body's shot. And at that point, I was talking to God. It went from super high to super low in a matter of like 60 seconds. It was crazy. I haven't been on an emotional roller coaster like that in such a long time. Some people saw me struggling and they helped me up. Like that's what I really like about this Tough Mudder community is the camaraderie is there. Everyone's competing, but they're also, everyone's also helping each other. On that very first obstacle, not even a quarter mile into the first lap, I lose my headband or my headlamp. Like I said before, each lap I was getting a little slower, but it wasn't too bad. It was just 15 minutes slower each time. On that fifth lap, it took me 2.5 hours to just do 5 miles because I lost that headlamp, and there's only light. You're in the forest, and there's only light on the obstacle. So there's 20 obstacles. There's beams of light on each obstacle. But wherever there's no obstacles and you're just in the forest, it's pitch black. It's you can't see anything. You can't see 5 feet in front of you. Nothing. It's so dark. The moon was, I don't know where the moon wasn't helping me out. And I could only see light when there was people around me with their own headlamps. So I was legit taking steps like my feet were my eyes. And that was pretty scary. I was like, am I going to trip over something? I couldn't see anything. And then whenever there was someone that came by with a headlamp, I was just hoping that they were walking because my legs were shot. So I could catch up, so I could keep up with them and just follow their headlamp and their light to see where they're going. If they were running or even less jogging, I would probably take a couple steps jogging with them, trying to keep up with them, and then they just go past me. That fifth lap was rough. It took me 2.5 hours. It was tough to generate heat since I was moving so slow. And I had a backup headlamp, so that was fine, but it was at the pit crew. So I had to wait until I finished the lap first before going back to the pit crew. So after the fifth lap, my mom and my wife look at me, and I started uncontrollably shaking. Like I've had no control over my body. That was probably the first time I ever felt like that. I told them, I was like, I'm done. Get these clothes off me. Give me some warm, some dry clothes. Wrap me up. I can't continue. So I think this was like around, I don't know, maybe 11 o'clock, midnight. So 12 hours in, I had to wrap myself up. I couldn't anymore. They gave me some thermal blankets, wrapped me up in like, I don't even know how many layers, just a bunch of layers. And I was like, all right, that's fine. Let me just warm up. Let me eat some food. Let me keep drink some soup, drink some hot water. I'll be good in like a half hour. I'll be fine. Let me just warm up my body. I'll be good to go. Half hour goes by. I try to take a little bit of my arm outside of the blanket, and then my whole body again uncontrollably shaking. And I'm like, what the heck? Like I thought I'd be warm by now. And I kept eating, trying to eat some more, trying to or drink some more. My body didn't want to work with me. I knew my mom and my wife weren't gonna like push me and tell me, oh, come on, keep going, you got this, because I knew they wouldn't. I told them beforehand, I'm like, look, if I'm gonna quit, it'll be on my terms. Like I don't want you guys to tell me when to quit, when to stop. No matter how crappy I look, no matter how bad I look and what bad shape I am, I want to be this one smart enough to tell myself and tell you guys that I'm done. I think I made the right decision. I didn't have any regrets. So at that moment, I'm at 25 miles and it was like midnight. And then I'm like, you know what? So to be considered a finisher, you have to finish your last lap after 8 a.m. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take a nap. If the sun comes up and I'm not awake yet, then just wake me up. I was hoping to wake up before the sun. You wake up when the sun comes up, like around 6. And then I was like, well, my body better cooperate with me now. If not, I'm going to do whatever it takes. So I get up and my body is full body lock. Not even legs anymore, just full body cramp. And I'm like, how the heck am I going to put this wetsuit on, and how the heck am I going to go through all the obstacles? The only reason the last lap wasn't as bad as the fifth lap, the sixth lap wasn't as bad as the fifth lap, was because there was some sun. I ended up walking it with 2 other guys. So I was able to finish it in like an hour and a half, but Mom and my wife had to help put my wetsuit on because I couldn't do it myself. I was trying to warm up my body and loosen up my body before doing these obstacles, and every movement I did, it was rough. Like no matter what I did, it was just sore everywhere. So I'm like, all right, I guess when the time comes to get over the wall, I'll just have some adrenaline. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I somehow did it. Started at 8 o'clock, the last lap, finished at 10:30, got 30 miles, and I said, I'm done. I am done. And my body was not cooperating. I was not in good enough shape to get to the goal that I wanted. I was shot after 30 miles and then thinking, I'm like, man, I would have had to do 20 more miles to my goal. So the realization that I got to work a lot harder for this year's Tough Mudder. And the thing is, I knew I wasn't in good shape. I knew I wasn't. But I was just like, screw it. Like, I've been wanting to do this for like a decade, and I just want to see where I'm at. I just want to do it. I wasn't mad. I wasn't, I did my best. I pushed my body to its limits. And I think I pushed my mind to its limits also. I was in the highs and lows. I did what I could, and that's all I could have asked for, and that's all, so no regrets at all.